Hey guys, it's Madison Violet, and I'm so hyped, so excited to be back because today we have an extra special interview with Brijitte West of New York Loose. And I'm really excited because, again, I love supporting my female fronted acts and supporting the girls in alternative metal, punk, rock, whatever it is. I just love supporting the girls. And Brijitte West is such an icon. I'm so grateful to have had her on the show. Before we get started, I want to introduce her. She's the front woman, best known for leading the New York rock band New York Loose. And then emerging from the underground scene in the 90s, New York Loose built a devoted following with their gritty, unapologetic sound before getting signed with Hollywood Records and releasing their debut album, Year of the Rat. Their music reached an even wider audience through Spit, which appeared on The Crow, City of Angels soundtrack, and then the band did later tour on with Marilyn Manson during the Antichrist Superstar tour. Now, more than 3 decades later, Brijitte is still revisiting that era with Monolith Kids, a newly remastered collection featuring the complete Loosen Up EP alongside fan favorites such as Born to Lose, plus the band's cover of Cheap Tragedies by the Avengers, the punk band. Beyond New York Loose, Brijitte is still continuing to explore rock, Americana, and intimate acoustic songwriting, and she remains an artist defined by honesty, fearlessness, and an unmistakable voice. Today, we're incredibly excited to hear more about her music, her journey, and the story behind Monolith Kids. Welcome, Brijitte. Okay. Hi, everybody. Today, we're talking with Brijitte West. I'm really excited because she has some incredible experience in the industry and music just in general. And I'm a young baby artist, so it's super cool like talking to someone with so much incredible experience and so much valuable insight on music today and all that. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm really excited to have a great conversation.
Oh, amazing. Thank you, Madison, for having me.
Of course. So before we start, just introduce yourself, what you do, and yeah, just any information that you'd like the audience to know.
Okay. My name is Brijitte West. I started out in a band called New York Loose. We were on the Lower East Side of New York City, sort of in that scene in the early, sort of mid 90s. I sort of was one of the original punks making my own records, in the DIY age where we made, vinyl records. It was way before CDs even, and even before Spotify or anything like that. So I'm a bit of a dinosaur.
Awesome. And I'm really like excited again to, talk to someone with that experience outside of, today's modern industry with all the streaming platforms and I mean, you said
Mm,
before CDs.
yeah.
And I'm really excited to hear about that. Um, so you're revisiting recordings on Monolith Kids. I'm really excited to hear about that as well. So after more than 30 years, what does it feel like to revisit these recordings? And then did your remasters change your perspectives on your songs today?
Yeah. I was just listening to Monolith Kids today, actually, and just looking at, listening to the mastered version. My God, it's very strange. It almost feels like another lifetime, but it's weird when you maybe like when you're looking at pictures of yourself when you were younger, there is still part of you there. Do you know what I mean? It's just that it's
Yeah.
grown. And that's what it feels like. It's like, well, it's sort of still me that, I am that person, but I've grown and I've grown up and I've done lots and lots of other things since then. And the masters sound great, actually. And what's really nice is because when we did those recordings, we were in the worst studios you could probably imagine, really on a shoestring budget. So actually having somebody taking the recordings and mastering them and EQing them so that the vocals are coming through a little bit more, or, some of the really good guitar work is coming through a little bit more. I was really lucky to have a variety of really great musicians I worked with throughout most of those recordings. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for it.
Yeah, I also took a listen. I had that attached in some email, and I really enjoyed what I was hearing. I really love the vibe. So this collection combines the Loosen Up EP with material from Born to Lose, and then so what made these recordings the right choice for creating the definitive snapshot of New York Blues's independent years?
I think it's because it's pretty much a collection of everything that has come before Year of the Rat, which was our big record.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and they're all in one place and they're all remastered and they're all available to buy if you want to buy the vinyl, if you want to buy CD, BrijittWest.com, BrijiTTE, BrijittWest.com, or follow me on Instagram and we can, yeah, I mean, it's all sort of there to buy, which is great too, because I love the idea of um, having a physical product,
Yeah,
in this age of digital. It's really nice.
I agree. It's just so, I feel like streaming platforms is the one thing that that misses with. I mean, the accessibility is great, and the portability is awesome. I can just pick up my phone and listen to music, but the feeling of owning something is so much.
Mm,
It's so different compared. I mean,
it is.
yeah, I was born around the time when like CDs were getting like CDs like we use CDs, and then as I was a little like as I got a little older, it was the MP3s, and then now it's streaming. But just
Mm.
you know, the feeling of owning something, owning like your own music, is just so much better.
Yeah, and also then you get to look at like the artwork and the credits and the artist always has something to do with that, so you're not only just getting the visual the sort of the audible kind of art form, but you're also getting a little bit of the visual as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's why people love vinyl as well, I think so much. It's not just, putting it on the turntable and it sounds amazing because it's vinyl, but also because there's so much more to it. There's a front cover, there's a back cover, there's liner notes, there's photographs, there's, so many other things. You can tell who wrote the songs, who's produced it, what year, you know we're all in one place and you're not, it's just nice to take a break, I think, from the computer and from technology sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. So, my next question is, so what do you think set New York Blues apart from the rest of the 90s and alternative punk scene? So on my channel, on top of that, I love supporting female-fronted musicians, especially in alternative because it's so male dominated. And
Mm.
so how did your identity have an impact on your music, and what made, you guys stand out during your scene? Because obviously you
Mm.
guys made waves. And yeah, was there anything specific that, you know, you think was your kind of niche in that the scene? And
So I think I I was a songwriter, first and foremost, I think. I think that's what set me apart. It was all about the craft of the song. It was all about the story. It was all about the lyrics and how, and then the unexpected chord change. And then, I took it really seriously. I didn't just do it because I thought it was fun, and or I didn't do it just because I wanted to be, have attention. In fact, I hated most of that bit. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not really into photos and lots of attention. But it was more, and I think that is what actually set us apart because it wasn't just about the image. Even though we had this very sort of, we were all punks, right?
yeah,
And we were all kind of, just really just kicking around on the Lower East Side, just trying to, scrape enough money together to, pay for rehearsal. I mean, it really was like that. But it was just for me anyway, it was I took it seriously. I really did. And I think then when I performed, people could see that. Like it wasn't just, like a bit of girlfriend for me. Ooh, let me, pretend I'm like, I'll be a rock star for the night. I was, it was part of me. It was literally part of my identity. And so I think people really, I think that resonated with people. I think so. I hope so anyway.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great to hear. Yeah, especially, me as another female fronted, musician, it's like, again, it's my identity is a huge part of my art and I can't really separate that, and so it's I feel like us as like women in alternative scenes and like we have a whole different perspective in general
Yeah,
compared to a lot of other
absolutely.
artists just as our like identities as women. Cool.
Mm.
So my next question, so I read that you toured with Marilyn Manson during the Antichrist Superstar era and quickly won over audiences who didn't know your music. So do you have a favorite or interesting memory from that tour? And then how
Um,
did this tour like have an impact on your identity as an artist?
it had a big identity on us because we were just starting out. You're the Rat had just come out, and we were looking for tours. And Manson was a big fan, which I didn't even know. But anyway, so he asked us to do the tour, and I jumped at it. I thought, oh my God, this has got to be amazing. Even though we weren't really totally aligned, like his
Yeah.
music was more like metal, like
Yeah.
industrial metal. And we were like full on punk rock,
Yeah.
or sort of, kind of rock and roll, punk rock. And and so it was a little bit nerve-wracking because I'm thinking, I know like there was like the Spooky Kids were like full on at
Yeah.
that time. And I was like, oh no, I know that they're really, can be really, really hard on opening bands. So anyway, and they were very hard on us. So the first night, it was pretty bad. I mean, I had like blowjob, you know, faces, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like, ugh. And then, yeah, they threw stuff at us, and but we were New Yorkers. We're like, you know what? Okay, what do we do? Anyway, so I just kind of like had an idea, and I, I, just, I actually just took some. I can't remember what it was. I was drinking beer or something, and I on stage, and I just kind of like drank it, and then I just spit it out over the first couple of rows, and I kept doing it during a guitar solo, and they loved it, and they and they were like, "Oh, spit on me!" And then of course we have a song called Spit, so
Yeah.
and yeah, so especially during Spit, it was like a big thing. It's like who can, who's Bridget gonna spit on tonight, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
they really, really welcomed us. They were amazing. And Manson was as well. He was
Yeah.
just fantastic. And the whole band, we had such a good time. It really was amazing.
Yeah. So it got better as you progressed through
Yeah,
the tour. Yeah.
it did. It really, really did. And yeah, like so the Manson, we'd see like the Manson kids wearing our t-shirts and
Oh,
stuff.
that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, it was. It was cool. I mean, we were really lucky, really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of also formed your band's identity, like as an artist after that, like your later records.
Well, it did because it was sort of like, you know what, we can do anything. If we can open it for Marilyn Manson, we can do anything. That's kind of
Yeah.
how it felt like.
Yeah, awesome. So my next question, you once described yourself as shy until you picked up a guitar and then plugged in an amplifier. So how did music transform your confidence both on stage and off? So honestly, also for me, a little backstory. I will consider myself an introvert, but I hear a lot of the times, a lot of the comments I get like after I get off stage, it's like, oh my gosh, like I saw you before the gig and you were just like kind of in the corner. And then you're on stage and doing all that. So how did music transform, again, your confidence and your uh just kind of all that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I grew up I had a pretty, rock bottom childhood, let's say. And I was very shy. I never really felt like my voice mattered in the sort of the scope in which I was brought up in. Okay. But I had a lot to say. Like I've always had a very busy mind.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out where those two, like, how do I do that? And then I started writing songs. And I started writing songs sort of on my acoustic guitar. And then someone said, "Oh, why don't you try and play the electric guitar?" And as soon as I just hit one chord, or that was it.
Yeah.
Because it just gave me the power, right? It made me feel like I can transcend myself now.
Yeah.
And I can actually break out of this shy, shut down girl
Mhm.
and be something else, which is also part of me, but it helped me to be that part of myself.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I was recently, sort of diagnosed, not diagnosed, but as I'm an introverted extrovert, which
Oh,
means that I'm the kind of person that, you see me and you'll go, "Oh, Bridget, do you want to come to this party? Or can I, would you like to do that?" And I'll go, "Yeah, yeah, I'd love to do all those things. That sounds amazing." But then the night of that thing, I'm dreading it. I'm
yeah.
just
Oh
like,
my goodness.
"Is that you?" It's
Yes,
like,
me. Yeah.
yeah, okay, so you're
I'm like, I
that
have to
too.
interact with people.
It's like, "Oh no, oh no, I hope
Yeah.
I've got to figure out an excuse why I can't do this. Oh, I hope it gets canceled." Like for me,
Yeah.
something getting canceled is like great, you know. So yeah, so we all have our sort of quirks as artists, we all have our little things. But yeah, I mean, being being in front of a Marshall amp and being able to wield, an electric guitar and sing and be all that. I mean, it felt so powerful for me to do
Such a
that. So yeah,
badass way to put it, honestly. It's like music is I mean, it's kind of like a second voice.
it
And
really
yeah,
is. It really
art in
is.
general. Yeah, I think a lot of a lot of artists are introverts, like surprisingly. I've a lot of people I've met, I'm like, there's no way you're an introvert. But yeah, it's just having that second voice and using art as, power, and it's just so incredible, and it's really great to see you do it.
Thank
Um,
you.
of
I feel
course.
really, really grateful that I have that gift because it is a gift. It's not something it's something I've been given, and I'm so grateful about
Yeah.
that.
No, that's a huge inspiration for me as well.
Good.
Cool. Oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I said I'm glad. I said I'm good. That's really good if you find it inspirational. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah. So, your career has taken you from New York punk rock to Americana and intimate acoustic. I know you also talked about you did a little bit of acoustic.
Mhm.
So how have those different musical chapters influenced the songwriter you are today?
So I think for me, as a songwriter, I've always loved a lot of different types of music, and I've always kept myself really, really open to many different genres. And a bit like a collector, I collect things along the way. There's certain things I love about country music, especially the storytelling. And
Yeah.
usually they're sort of tragic and sad, and
Yeah.
that's cool, right? Um, I love sort of Def Leppard for its, amazing guitar work and amazing production. Or, I mean, and I also love, some really obscure things. Like one of my favorite things at the moment is somebody called Blade. I don't know if you know, you
Okay.
probably don't. You know Blade,
Is it Blade with two
two
E's?
E's. Oh my
Yes, I
God.
know Blade.
I
Yeah.
literally worship him. I literally, honestly worship him. I think he is the most amazing innovative artist on many levels. He works with some amazing producers, Filthy, Skrillex, White Armor.
Yeah.
So I really love that kind of music. And a lot of people are like, "You like that?" I mean, I literally do because I can appreciate the art form, especially he's also an amazing lyricist. I think
Yeah.
Charlie X um, said that he was one of the best lyricists right now. He is. He's so,
Yeah.
I mean, he combines humor, philosophy, he's just amazing. Young Lean and that whole kind of genre I love. So yeah, I mean, I've always kept myself really, really open to music.
Yeah.
And therefore, when I go and write a song, I'm not just, coloring it from a punk rock point of view. I'm coloring
Yeah.
it from a huge palette of
Yeah.
different colors and different influences.
Yeah. That's very important. Also, same for, I'm gonna be completely honest, same for me. Um, yeah, if someone came up to me and asked like me, what's your genre? I don't think I'd be able to, I
But I
can give
think,
like examples, but like
yeah,
of
but I think
multiple.
that's so important. I mean,
Yeah.
because it used to be in my day, it was like you were either punk rock, you were either industrial metal, blah, blah, blah. But now, you've got artists that are just dabbling in everything all at once, which is fantastic.
Yeah. No, it's really refreshing to like hear people who are like, especially you, where it's like, don't be ashamed to like draw from any inspiration you're getting.
Yeah.
There's no need to like gatekeep this genre or like you can't put this
Mhm.
song in this genre. It's nice to hear that because there's a lot of people who are like, I can't do that. And I'm sure
Yeah.
you've had your experiences with other people. Yeah. So speaking of favorite artists and inspirations, what are some inspirations you think shaped your music in your band and your solo career as well?
Okay, well, in the early days, it was definitely things like the Ramones and the Stooges, Joan Jett, Blondie. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty obvious in the early days, what I was listening to, but I was also really sort of into kind of the noise stuff like Sonic
Yeah.
Youth and Pussy Galore and that kind of stuff. So we were always slightly more noisy. We have a lot of noise sort of you'll notice on some of the records. It's like very, it almost is dissonant slightly. We didn't stick to a really kind of bright punk rock, Buzzcocks kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, and then later on, I really, I was hugely influenced by somebody called Lucinda Williams. She made a record called Car Wheels on a Gravel Road, which I still worship to this day. Um, she is a fantastic songwriter. And that was where kind of my Americana influence has always been there, just because I've always been a huge fan of country music. Me and Danny Nordahl from the New York Loose were
Yeah.
huge country fans. So a lot of times we would like just on the tour bus listen to like Hank Williams and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, like I said, I just keep it really, really, really open. I'm very, very open when it comes to music. I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And I know
Yeah.
it immediately, So yeah.
Awesome. So circling back to Monolith Kids, what do you hope a new generation of listeners takes away from, this remaster, this new record?
Um, well, first of all, I hope they listen to the songs and kind of get into the stories and are interested in the subjects, because now we're talking about such a long time ago that sometimes the stories will be told in a way that might sound almost ancient, where, I might reference something that doesn't really even exist anymore, sort of in, kind of in a digital world.
Yeah.
But um, I think I just hope that I kind of gain, some more fans, only because I think it would be really nice to have another generation and look at the work I've done
Yeah.
and appreciate it, because it meant something to me, and it meant something to everyone that was around at that time. So it's lovely to take sort of that time capsule almost out of the ground, so to speak, and
Yeah.
put it out there again. I do have a new album coming out,
Ooh, awesome.
which is kind of like big, big news. Yeah, so that's going to be coming out in sort of November time. And that's a
Okay.
record I recorded, of all new songs with a new band. And it's really, really exciting for me to be doing another rock album after doing, sort of an Americana record and then an acoustic record. This is a
Yeah.
full-on rock record, so that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for your new projects. I'm so glad you're like, still writing all this music.
Thank
Um,
you.
of course. So my next question, what advice would you give an artist starting out today? And so what do you think are some pros, cons of today's music industry compared to your experience in like the 90s scene, like the gritty alternative scene? And
Yeah.
you're still like I said, you're still making music. So what are some major differences you've noticed, and what would you tell like an artist who's gonna pick up a guitar today and be like, hey, I'm gonna start writing?
I think I would just have to say if they were standing in front of me and doing this for the first time or just as a just starting, um I would honestly say it's really, really important to work on your gut instincts. That is the most important thing as an artist that you can do. Whether you're a painter, whether you're a writer, whether you're a musician, a poet, whatever it is that you want to say, it's important to work on leaning into your instincts. When you lean into your instincts, meaning what feels good to you, what feels right to you, then you're becoming authentic. And that's probably the top most important thing as an artist is to remain authentic. In other words, don't worry about if anyone else likes what you're doing. It doesn't matter if anyone likes it because you have to work, you have to do it for you.
Exactly.
And and you have to kind of try and distill yourself into that art form. And that is for me is the most important thing that I could probably say to an artist.
Yeah. That's really like nice to hear. Authenticity is just so important. And especially like I've been feeling lately, it's just hard to find artists who are creating art just to create art. I mean
Yeah.
they're out there. I mean, I've a lot of people, but it's really important to like stay authentic and just make what you want to make without worrying about other people judging your art.
Mhm.
That's what one thing that just keeps me going.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really important. It really is.
So I only have a couple questions left.
Okay,
I do have one kind of
sure.
fun question. So
Uh-huh.
you're going on tour and say there's no Spotify available, and you can only bring three CDs on the
Ooh.
tour bus. Which three CDs would it be?
Okay, oh my God, that is a
I
really
torture
hard
everybody with this
question.
question.
I hate this question. Okay, well, I definitely think one of them would be Cold Visions by Blade.
Yeah.
Um, because it's highly entertaining, and every time I hear it, I hear something else. Although I don't even know if it's out on CD. Um, the other one would be um, probably something by Blondie. I think I
Okay.
always, I always just feel really happy when I listen to Blondie. So it could be Parallel Lines or, something earlier.
Yeah.
And the third one would be, what would the third one be? Um, you're not going to believe it, but it's actually it's actually The Night Fly by Donald Fagen,
Okay.
who I don't even know if you know who that is, but he was in a band called Steely Dan.
I
And
know
there's this
Steely Dan. Yeah.
okay, so he made this record called The Night Fly. Um, and it's a solo album. And I don't know, for some reason, I just love the album. I really, really do. I mean, it has not like again, it's nothing to do with it's not even a rock record. It's like, but I don't know. It's like I love the lyrics, I love the stories, and yeah, I think it would be that one.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm almost ashamed to
Yeah.
say.
No, honestly, it's I honestly don't think I always ask this question of people. I don't think I'd be able to answer it myself. I'm gonna be so honest.
It's hard because you know what, if you asked
Yeah.
me this tomorrow, it would be a whole other three.
Yeah.
But like today, right now, that's what it would be. But like if you ask me tomorrow, it could be completely different. In fact, it would be
Exactly.
completely different.
Yeah. I use this app. I don't know if you know it. It's called Airbuds. But
No, I don't.
it connects to your Spotify account and it tracks your listening history week by week. It's really cool. It's like Spotify Wrapped, but
Okay.
it
Well, that's really, really
yeah.
funny. So Spotify Wrapped for my 2025, my Spotify age was 22, and I'm definitely
Yeah.
not 22. And my first what was it? It was like cloud rap. It's
Yeah.
my first was my first genre. And then the rest of it was kind of Italian drill, which is another thing I
Okay.
love.
Yeah. No, but it's so cool with earbuds. I feel like you'd like it because it's weekly. So you can see like,
Oh my
oh my
God,
gosh.
that's so cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
definitely look at that.
And
Because
like you
yeah, I mean
said,
I
yeah.
would actually be really interested to see where I go, week to week, because it could be anything. It literally could be, some sort of obscure sort of bossa nova song from the
Yeah.
1950s to, something by this guy called Marrakesh, who's another guy I really love, who's an
Yeah.
Italian um rapper, sort
Yeah.
of guy. But anyway, yeah, it's nuts. I really, really I consume music in a way that a lot of people don't understand because I'll actually listen to something that I don't actually like that much, but I'm listening to it because I feel like it's really interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
I
like,
get it.
wow, where is this going? This is really
Yeah.
interesting. And if it's interesting to me, which I can't even sit through a film, I'm like terrible. I have no attention span. Then yeah, so yeah, that's kind of like my judge.
Yeah. No, but it's week by week. It's just like completely different. Cool. Um,
Yeah.
so I only have one question left. So with Monolith
Okay.
Kids introducing these recordings to a wider audience again, I know you mentioned throughout the interview some other things that are coming up for you, but I mean, what's next for you? Are there new songs, performances, or projects that you want fans to look forward to and keep an eye out on?
Okay, well, the most important thing is to keep in touch with me. So, and what I'm doing. So, BridgetteWest.com, that's launching probably next week.
Awesome.
Please follow me on Instagram at Bridget West. Um, and yeah, just really, yeah, just keep in touch with me. Keep in touch with what I'm doing, and especially with this new record, because this one's going to be an absolute atomic bomb for me. I
Yeah.
love this album so much. And I love the band I'm playing with. And I think it's probably the best thing I've ever done. So yeah, I'm really excited. And I really, really hope, my fans like it, but also I hope to reach new fans with this one. So
Yeah. For sure. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad to be, talking with you today because, you have such incredible experience and you're just a huge inspiration, like from what you
well, I'm really,
say.
really pleased that people still remember me. And yeah, so thank you very much.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you're like supporting I mean, you're still supporting like, young musicians today and that's really
Yeah.
important to me. So thank you so much to Bridget. That was so much fun. Up next, I'm going to be featuring some of her songs so we can take a listen. Let's go ahead and listen to some of the remastered tracks from Monolith Kids.
Jack's boots are making her loose. Add 6 inches to a 6 foot